Hello, humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer. There is panic at PlayStation, panic at Sony. They are creatively bankrupt. They missed the ball completely. And it all started with Concord, of course. You know, when you lose close to $400 million on a property, what are you going to do? And let me tell you, those people out there that are going to blame DEI for this disaster, no. You know, you're actually putting the blame in the wrong place. You have to put the blame on whoever chose this direction. And in this case, it came down to the CEO. The CEO did a horrible job, right, of forecasting the market. That's the CEO's primary job, right, to see which way the wind is going to blow in the future. That is your one and only job, is to predict the market. That's why it's so hard. That's why they get paid so well. And of course, you can see this is a disaster by the evidence of them canceling so many games, online service games, that were never going to work, right? Because the prime directive for game developers can't be, I want you to make me a game that is going to make as much money as possible. I don't think anyone has ever created a great game under those conditions, because video game is an art. You know, you don't start art by saying, I want to paint this painting so I can sell it for the most amount of money possible. I don't think that's the goal of the painter. It never is, right? He wants to make money, but that's not the reason he's creating the painting. And game creators are like that. They're artists. But when you put them in a box to where their one and only directive is to make money, or to send a message, or to do whatever it is that isn't creating a fun game, you end up where Sony is at today, right? In panic mode, creatively bankrupt. They don't know what to do. They need to turn the corner. And it's sad to see that a company that is on the PlayStation 5, so they've done this 5 times. They did it 4 times successfully, and now in the 5th time, they're fumbling over their feet. Unreal, right? You couldn't believe it. But again, it's a direction that the company took, and it's the responsibility of the CEO and the managers in the company to make sure that they're good stewards of the brand and other products they put out. They have completely failed in this. And let me tell you, when you think about PlayStation and all the great properties, all the great legacy that they've had, how could you end up here, right, on your anniversary, you know, to be here, losing hundreds of millions of dollars? Guys, all this cancellation with the 400 from Concord, and now the rest, games that don't sell, you got to be looking at over $500 million in losses, if not close to $1 billion, right? That is why this is getting canceled. That is why it's panic time. And what a great opportunity they missed. Can you imagine, guys? And instead of, you know, trying to nickel and dime everybody, you know, looking for that quick buck, right? Chasing those Fortnite dollars, which is really what has this company in trouble. They thought they were going to go full service, you know, games as a service model, you know, nickel and dime everybody and get rich that way, increase their coffers that way. That's what happened to them, right? That's what's going on here. Has them in this distressed situation. What if instead of that, for the anniversary, with their rich legacy, they would have released a compilation of the best. Imagine re-releasing games that don't even cost that much, but the people would love just out of nostalgia, out of legacy. What if you did Battle Arena Toshinden again, just to re-release? You didn't have to do anything. What about Legend of Dragoon? What about Resistance Fall of Man? If you wanted to have another shooter out there you go. I mean, I can go on and on and on with bangers from PlayStation. We could sit here from now for 2 weeks. We could be talking about great titles that had come out of the PlayStation brand. And these guys couldn't figure it out. And at that point, you're just remastering. You already have the properties. You already own the IPs. What are these people doing? What they're doing is trying to chase the almighty dollar, and they failed. Now, sometimes you make bets in companies and it costs you a little. But this time, it costs them a lot. A whole heck of a lot. And these cuts, guys, they're going to go far deep. PlayStation is really going to have to rely here on their creative partners, because at this point, the way they're developing games with a $300 million budget, with a 5-year, 6-year time frame, they're not going to be able to put up anything that people are going to flock to en masse. So they have to rely on their partners. PlayStation, and I'm telling you this as a PlayStation owner, I'm telling you this as a Sony stockholder, has the best engineered products out there. Even with the Joy-Con drift and everything, right? At least the ones that I get. As far as engineering, it's the superior product on the market, bar none. Right? It's not even close. You look at a Sony engineered product and you compare it to Nintendo or to Xbox, ergonomically, it's just a better product. It's solid. But you need to have the games that go with it. Greed can't be your only barometer. Greed can't be your compass. Quality has to come in there somewhere. This addiction that Sony has had for the last 4 years at least, to be a microtransaction king, instead of being happy with taking the royalties that they get from the Call of Duties, from Electronic Arts, from everything else that they have on the platform, whether it's Minecraft or Roblox, whatever, those type of games, they want their own, right? They don't want a slice of the pie. Well, guess what? You lost. You could have partnered with those companies. You could have gotten 100 different ways. But what did they do? Buy all these studios with unknown, unproven talent, pay top dollar for them. So not only did they lose on the studios, they lost on what they produced, because they had no quality control over these people. You can sit here and blame Concord on the professor or whoever, whatever woke activists that you want to talk about. It is somebody's responsibility to go QC those companies and go do an assessment, go do audits. Anybody could do that. Anybody with half a brain, you could have hired somebody off the street to go look at the game and tell you, there's something wrong here. This game looks like crap. How much have we spent? You could have done that before you bought the studio, right? Thinking that these properties that they're making are going to make billions of dollars, and they're going to turn it into the next Star Wars, and they're going to have studios, and they're going to have films, and they're going to have shows based on this. No, that didn't happen. I think it's time for Sony to reset, to go back to their roots, to start listening to their customers, to start releasing properties that they want, that people are begging for. And maybe they can start anew, right? There's possibilities, guys. Can you imagine if these guys were just to do remasters of old games that you could play online, the backwards compatibility angle? Here, I'll give you an idea, Sony, for free. All you have to do is, let's say you can go back and redo these games sort of like Xbox does, but since you're hungry for money, right? Since you're hungry for money and you need every microtransaction, charge people like $5 to register your license, right? And then they have access to play these old titles upgraded on your system. You can charge another microtransaction for that. There's a registration fee, and you're going to pay this much for the game again. Boom. You can play your Twisted Metal 2 redone for $10. Would you do it? Well, why not? Some people might bite. $7.99, maybe. Why not? There's a lot of money there. People are buying, retro consoles, emulator consoles to back up their games now. Why not get a piece of that? With the huge library that you have, can you imagine being able to register your PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3 games and put them in a library that you could play, and it could be your own personal service? And now you can, just pay a monthly fee for access to your titles if you don't want to play them on your own, right? Not that everybody's going to do that, okay? But I'm telling you, there's money to be made there, right? If you want to nickel and dime everybody. The one thing that Sony doesn't give you is value. That's the problem with Sony. Whatever you want to say about Xbox, about how diminished it is, the one thing the Xbox Game Pass does, and I'm telling you this not only as a Game Pass user, but a Microsoft stock owner, and I own an Xbox, right? It does provide value. At any time I could jump in and play an old EA game. I can play an old, Xbox game and other games there. PlayStation has it too, but at a premium price, and the selection is not as good. Let me tell you guys, this company is in panic mode, and if they don't get their shit together pretty soon, it's going to cost them even more. This is brace for impact time, guys. These people need to get it right this time, and the best way to do it is to embrace their legacy of greatness. They've done it right 4 times. This 5th time, they fumbled the ball, but it's not too late. All right, humans, those are just my thoughts. It makes me sad to see a company like Sony be down in the dumpsters. Make sure you like and subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode of the Gen X Gamer. Take care.